Are you wanting to make some extra money on the side, but maybe just don't know how to do that? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how I turned 500 Rand into over 2,000 Rand in one weekend. My name is Romero, and welcome to the channel where I help you grow your side hustle or small business. I currently run a business alongside two business partners full-time. And even so, what I'm going to share in this video is something I still do till this day on the side. I just can't help myself. Now, the way I turned the 500 into 2,000 Rand was by buying and reselling secondhand goods. I was busy driving through a town on my way to a client when I saw the animal shelter and we wanted to stop by as we were looking to adopt a pet. Right in front, basically have a section where they sell secondhand goods that people don't. Now, whenever I see stuff secondhand, especially at a place like that, and I immediately start scouting for things that probably have a good resale value. The way that I personally do this is I start with the things that I know best. I'm very passionate about coffee and I've run several cafes. And so as soon as I see anything coffee related, my eyes go there. I'm into sports and fitness. And so if I see some sporting goods that I understand the rough secondhand price for, I go there. I stay away from clothes and books, although I have a friend who does very well reselling books, but that's not something I'm good at. I saw that there were some golf clubs and my father-in-law had just taken me to play a little bit. I still know absolutely nothing about golf clubs, but in the shop I saw them, they were expensive. I see these 3 bags over there and they're full of pretty old looking golf clubs, and I think there must be some money in that. I carry on looking through the place and I wrote a list of everything that I purchased that day. I went and I saw a wetsuit folded up, and I enjoy surfing. I looked at the wetsuit. I asked the lady how much this was. She said 50 Rand. I said, sorry, 50 Rand. She said, yeah, 50 Rand. There's no holes. It doesn't need any stitching. It's in great condition. The knee pads are still good. Something that I know I can easily sell it for around 500 Rand. So I put that aside. Next up, I go through and I see that there's 2 squash rackets. Pretty nice looking squash rackets. Now, I don't really play squash, but, and this is key, guys, you take out your phone, search marketplace, see what is currently going for, how many is in the area for sale of that particular item. So I searched squash rackets. And then I went onto Google and I typed in that exact brand name and model number to see how much it's worth. Sometimes things look expensive and they're really cheap. I saw that each of these rackets were going for around 500 to 700 Rand new. The one was about 800 Rand new. What I usually do is see if I can sell that for half the price just to move it quickly. If it's in great condition, you could sell it for about 70% to maybe 80%, pushing it max of the full price. But I'd prefer stuff to just move. After all, I'm trying to make some money. So I asked her how much it was for each of these. The one was 10 Rand. The other one that was in the case was only 20 Rand, guys. So that was 30 Rand for the 2 rackets. For the way to 50 Rand. I went inside and there was some glasses and a whole bunch of stuff. And I saw a little espresso machine. And I looked at it. I asked her if it was working. She said yes. And it had a plug. It looked in good condition, just a little bit dirty. I opened it to make sure that all the parts were there. Now, again, I'm not telling you to go buy a coffee machine, but that's something that I could make an educated guess on to see whether or not it was going to be something that of value that I could resell. I asked if it was working. It was only 50 Rand, she said. And I was like, well, it's a 50 Rand guess. I know I'm going to make my money on the wetsuit and on the squash rackets. I may as well gamble the 50 Rand. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does, I should be able to sell it for 500 Rand or 350 fairly easily. So I put that aside as well. Next up, I go back to the golf clubs and I'm trying to look. I'm like, what if there's something of value inside here? Now, there was everything in there from vintage, wooden, damaged ones. As I was standing there, the lady came up to me and she said, okay, what if I give you a special price? And I said, hey, I'm actually just looking, because at this time I was busy Googling the different names, trying to see. She says, okay, what if I give you a special price? And I said, sure. What is that? It wouldn't hurt the hearing, right? I had no intention of taking these guys, or at least not all of them. And she says, okay, for all of them, 350 Rand. So I thought, man, my wife is going to be pretty upset if I come home after telling her I'm going to stop to look for a pet to adopt, and I come home with 4 bags of golf clubs. I end up taking them. I load up the back seat of our little car, and all I can think about while I'm packing this and the lady's helping me pack everything into the car is my wife is going to kill me, guys. How do I explain this to her? So I message her, tell her that I'm on my way. I come back. And I come back inside. So in total, guys, I spent around 500 Rand that day. I get home and I walk inside and I say, I bought some stuff, okay? It's going to take a few trips to bring it in, but please don't say anything till I tell you the story. And she laughs because she knows she knows that I'm always up to something funny like this. I explain to her the whole story. And I tell her, no, I'm going to make the money back and make the money back. So in any case, over that weekend, that was the Friday, I immediately start cleaning some of the golf clubs. I look on YouTube and I see there's a hack that you can use aluminium foil on water. I'm like, well, I've got that in my kitchen. I go outside in the sun, I get cracking, and I clean them up a little bit. Inside one of these bags were 2 golf sticks. The one looked pretty old. When I Googled them, they were worth about 500 Rand each. So I figured, well, they're not in great condition, but I'm sure someone would buy them and re-grip them. So those were technically free because I was going to pay the 350 for the golf clubs in any case. And again, just a reminder, I'm not telling you to buy these sporting gear. Go buy the secondhand thing that you understand the value of and that you could most likely fix up or at least be able to sell. These are the things that I was willing to gamble on. So after cleaning the golf clubs, I take some pictures of the wetsuits nicely. And this is key, guys. Take some good pictures. Make sure that you're further enough away from the object so that you can actually see it. So when they're busy scrolling through Facebook, it catches their eye. I sold everything on Facebook Marketplace. I took pictures of the hockey sticks, the Nespresso machine I tested out at home, and the pump was working, but no water was coming through. I could hear it was on, but just there was something not happening. So I thought, I lost my 50 Rand. That shouldn't be an issue. Again, I go to YouTube, where you're watching this right now, and I Google Nespresso machine not working. There's a video there that explains that it's got something to do with an airlock, etc. And there's a hack to fix it at home for free. I give it about 5 to 6 tries, and eventually it starts working. See that it uses hot water, cold water, like great. And then I take a picture of the 2 squash rackets. I posted all of those onto Marketplace over the weekend with the bit of time that I had on the weekend. And from there, that was it. Now, over the next week or two, I just needed to wait for people to inquire and sell. And everything basically sold out within the first few days. And then I think the slowest items were about the second week. So let's go through them one by one so that you can see exactly what I sold and how much I made on that. So the 3.5 bags of golf clubs. I actually went to a golf store in the area because I figured maybe they'd pay a premium or at least be able to tell me how much they're worth because I didn't want to be ripped off for that. Pros at the golf shop picked out 5 golf clubs that they really liked that they thought that they could sell, and they gave me 600 Rand for just those 5 clubs. I asked them what the rest was worth and they were like, maybe 500 Rand. So I immediately post the rest of the golf clubs on for 600 Rand. It took about a day and a half. I got a bunch of replies. The lady said she's on her way. Now remember, I spent a few hours cleaning these things. This lady shows up, picks them straight, puts it in the car, gives the cash. I'm like, hey, don't you want to look through them? She goes, no, she doesn't matter. It's just 600 bucks. It's like, okay, wow. So in total, the 300 Rand that we spent on the golf clubs, we were able to turn into 1,200 Rand. If we were patient, all of these numbers could be a little bit higher, but I wanted them to sell quickly. The wetsuit for 50 Rand, we posted for 500, but we had a lot of people wasting our time, so that sold for 350 Rand. The 2 hockey sticks that we got for free, I posted for 200 Rand, and someone negotiated to 150 Rand and came also within a week to collect both of them, and he was very happy about them. The Nespresso machine I had on for quite a while, this took about 2 weeks to sell. And so we ended up selling it to 350. We had a lot for 350 Rand. We had a lot of people wasting our time, and later I found that the bigger pods are not in as much. It's not as common to find anymore, and so I think that's why it took a little bit longer to sell. And the 2 squash rackets that we paid 30 Rand for, we were able to let go for 250 Rand. These, we just wanted someone to come quickly, pick it up and pay the cash. So yes, in theory, this could have, with a lot of patience, we could have maybe turned this into 3,500 Rand. But realistically, we want the cash in hand more than the value sitting in the house laying around. Now, if I only had a little bit of money, this is exactly what I would do to try and multiply that quickly. Now, is this long-term sustainable? Can you forecast a salary from it? No, obviously not. But I do this time and time again. My parents make fun of me for this because even though I'm running a business, whenever I'm in a secondhand store and I find something that's on discount that I enjoy myself and I want to purchase, I Google it, I Facebook Marketplace search, and then I see if I can purchase it. I want to make at least double or so on what I bought. So if I bought an item for 50 Rand, I at least want to be able to sell it for 100 Rand. That's just kind of my own maths that I would say, see what price they're selling it, times it by 2. Can you sell it for that? And don't be afraid to sell it for more if that's where the market is at. I've done this before again with an espresso machine. It was on special. I opened it up. I made sure that everything was okay with it. I bought it for 2,500 Rand and we sold it for 6,000 Rand the next day because it was in high demand. We could have waited a little bit longer for that one too. So there's many things like this that we've bought. We've bought little pieces of furniture, the one there on the side. We've bought stuff like that and just quickly sold it for a little bit more, painted it, done something with it. The reason I think that this is the best side hustle for you to do is because you can do it over a weekend or in some spare time in the week when you're driving around. It does require some upfront research and work, but then you post it on Marketplace and yes, you have to chat and that's time, etc. But I can do that throughout my day. I can check it at a lunch break. I can check it just before I go to bed, when I wake up, reply, and then people can come and give me cash in hand. So for the rest of the time, it's fairly passive. Obviously, you have to deal with the is it available people. So you got to stop that. Go give this a try yourself. Just remember, you are technically gambling with your money. It's not a guarantee that you're going to make it back. You may end up sitting with it for a little bit longer, but do a Google check, see what it costs you, if you can sell it for at least half of that. So I want to buying it secondhand, see if you can at least sell it for double. Obviously, if the item is cheaper, if it's a very expensive item, I at least want to make a few $100 on it to make it worth my time. In good photos, think about it, price stage it if you can. It's a little bit of extra effort, but it's going to make your listing stand out. Biggest key to do this is finding the right places to get your secondhand stuff from. Don't go to the Cash Crusaders and all of those places. Their margins are already so high. Instead, try and look for shelters and try and look for bargain shops, places where they're selling it informally for a lot cheaper and where you can also support a good cause. Now, after this video, you might not be into the whole buying and selling secondhand goods and making your money back on that. So if you've ever been keen to start a YouTube channel, consider checking out this video where I walk through whether it's even worth it to start a YouTube channel in 2024, or is it too late? Got some interesting stuff in there and how you can be approached by brands and maybe make that your side hustle. So if that's for you, check out this video, watch it, enjoy it. We'll see you in the next video.